You ever see a business that's just dead in the water, and then, bam, it's a superstar? What if I told you that sometimes one person can be the spark for that kind of explosion? Today, we're diving into the playbook of a guy who does exactly that.
Okay, look at this number. 523 million reals. Just let that sink in for a second. That's where a totally struggling cosmetics company ended up. But, a number like that only really hits you when you see the before picture. So back in 2008, Jakiti Cosmetics was pulling in about 20 million. A few years go by, new guy at the helm, and suddenly they're hitting over 523 million. That is, what, a 26 times increase? Just insane. And the guy who pulled it off? A man named Lázaro de Carmo. We're going to break down his exact playbook for turning business disasters into triumphs. All right, so who is this guy? I mean, who can just walk into a company and create results like that? Well, his backstory is honestly just as incredible as the numbers he puts up. Lázaro didn't come from money. He grew up on the outskirts of Belo Horizonte, son of a truck driver and a teacher. He gets his start in the pharma industry with this one single-minded goal. He was going to be president of a company. And, that kind of pure, relentless focus, it worked. By 38, he's the vice president of the massive Silvio Santos group. So you can just imagine his job interview with the legend himself, Silvio Santos. It was incredibly blunt. Santos basically says, here are two companies that are failing. If you fix them, I'll make you rich. If you don't, I'll give you a little cash and you can go on your way. Lázaro didn't even hesitate. He said yes on the spot. I mean, for him, what was the downside, right? Okay, so the big question. How did he do it? What's the secret sauce? Well, here's the thing. For Lázaro, the fix doesn't start with the numbers or some fancy new marketing campaign. Nope. It starts somewhere much, much deeper. His philosophy is just so simple, so direct. He says, a company with bad results has a bad culture. That's it. For him, the balance sheet, the profit and loss, that's just a symptom. The real disease is the company's culture. If you have a culture that's complacent, where nobody's motivated, of course the numbers are going to be terrible. It's a direct line. And he's not about trying to gently nudge a culture in the right direction. No, he's a surgeon. He believes in cutting out the parts that are sick. So his first move every single time, it's all about the people. And he doesn't waste any time. In just his first 3 months with the Silvio Santos group, he fired 70 people. 70! His logic is pretty brutal, but it makes sense. If a company's been going downhill for years, the people who've just been sitting there, letting it happen, they're part of the problem, not the solution. So who does he bring in? He looks for people with this exact mindset. Grateful always, content never. Think about that. He wants people who are thankful to be there, but are absolutely never satisfied with good enough. They have to be hungry, constantly pushing, and just as obsessed with results as he is. Okay, so once he's got the right team on the bus, that's when Lázaro starts looking under the hood at the business itself. Now it's time to get tactical. And what's smart is that his approach isn't one size fits all. He looks at the size of the company. For a big company, he knows the fastest way to make an impact is usually internal. You tighten up operations, you get smart about taxes, you slash costs. But for a small company, there's not really any fat to trim, right? So the focus has to be all external. Sales, marketing, just pure aggressive growth. His process is really methodical. He tears into the financials, questions every single operation, and keeps evaluating the team. And he's always, always hunting for what he calls new money. And that doesn't just mean profit. It's about finding value that's been hiding in plain sight. Like cutting a terrible supplier contract that's been draining cash, or renegotiating a loan to free up some breathing room. Anything that brings fresh resources into the company. Now, he definitely creates a high-pressure environment. But he makes this really crucial distinction between pressure and tension. For him, pressure is good. Pressure is what makes diamonds, right? It pushes people to grow and get results. But tension is bad. That's what happens when there's disrespect, when things get toxic. He wants a team that thrives under pressure, but never creates that negative personal tension. All right, this next part is something I find super refreshing. Lázaro is brutally honest about something that, let's be real, a lot of business gurus kind of gloss over. And that's the simple fact that sometimes stuff just goes wrong, no matter what you do. He even has a name for it, efeito colateral, which basically means collateral effect.
This is his term for all the unavoidable, unpredictable problems that just happen, the stuff that hits you out of nowhere, even when you've done everything perfectly. And this isn't some abstract theory. We're talking about a massive, unexpected tax bill showing up, or getting hit with a bogus lawsuit, or, a global pandemic that literally shuts down the entire world. It's those huge external shocks that can totally wreck your business, and they are completely out of your control. So that begs the million-dollar question, right? If you can't stop this stuff from happening, how in the world do you prepare for it? And his answer has zero to do with business school tactics. It's all about your mindset. The only way to prepare for the collateral effect is to be mentally tough and emotionally balanced. It's about having the strength to take a punch, stay on your feet, and keep moving forward without freaking out. And really, that idea brings us right to the heart of his entire philosophy, the one thing that ties it all together. It's not about being a genius with brilliant ideas. It's about something much more simple and much more powerful. At the end of the day, it's all about this. An average strategy, well executed, yields results. A wonderful one, poorly executed, is nothing. Execution is everything. A brilliant plan on a whiteboard is completely useless if you can't make it happen in the real world. He would take a simple, solid plan that his team can actually do over some genius strategy that's impossible to pull off any day of the week. Because success isn't about one big heroic moment. It's not about a clever trick. It's about what you do 365 days a year. It's the boring stuff. It's the grind. It's that relentless consistency that over time makes all the difference. So what's the point of all this? What's the end game? He sums it all up with this final thought. Between being happy and being right, be happy and leave a legacy. At the end of your life, it's not going to matter how many arguments you won. What's going to matter is what you built, the people you helped, the mark you left. The ultimate goal isn't the bottom line. It's the legacy.